Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about something that I noticed over and over again. It's not coming from a place of mockery, but from clarity and concern. Let's talk about the Seventh-day Adventists and the Sabbath. Because here's the problem. Seventh-day Adventist Sabbath keepers are constantly online on the Sabbath. And as someone who isn't a Sabbath keeper, but believes in the finished work of Christ and salvation by grace through faith, and in the eternal rest we have in Him, I keep finding myself debating with Sabbath keepers on social media on the Sabbath. And I can't help but think, wait a minute, aren't you breaking the very commandment you claim is a moral test? Let's be clear on what Seventh-day Adventists believe. They say the fourth commandment in Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 to 11 is still binding and unchanging and eternal. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. In it you shall not do any work, you or your son, your servant, not even your cattle. They insist that Sabbath rest must be kept exactly as commanded from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. No work, no labor, no exception. They also say that Jesus didn't abolish the Sabbath, that it wasn't fulfilled or redefined under the new covenant, and that anyone not keeping the seventh day Sabbath is sinning or rejecting God's moral law. Alright then, let's take that logic seriously. Let's go straight to the Bible and let's see what the Bible says about the Sabbath. Let's walk through the biblical standard of Sabbath keeping. Exodus chapter 16 verse 29 says, don't even leave your place on the Sabbath. Exodus 35 verse 3 says, don't kindle a fire in your dwelling. The Hebrew word Shabbaton means complete rest, a total cessation from all activity. And Isaiah 58 verse 13 says you must turn from your own pleasure. The word pleasure in Hebrew is chabet, which means your desires or your pursuits. Now, let me ask you this. If the Sabbath is to be kept exactly as commanded, what does it mean when you're browsing on Facebook, watching YouTube sermons, texting Happy Sabbath, arguing theology and on WhatsApp or even Reddit? Now, let's talk about the digital hypocrisy. Here's the real issue. Using the internet on Sabbath violates your own theology. Why, must you ask? Because being online activates electricity and serves the modern version of kindling a fire. It also engages in communication and stimulation. That's work and pursuit. It causes others, your internet providers, data centers and data center employees and servers to work on your behalf. And in Exodus 20 verse 10 says, even your servants must rest. So whether you're uploading a sermon, streaming a Sabbath live stream or posting Sabbath graphics, you're making other people work on your behalf, and that's direct violation on your own Sabbath doctrine. And don't say, well, I'm not physically working. That's not the standard you teach. You teach literal observance, and by your own rules, you're breaking it every single week. Now, here's the deeper problem. This isn't just a small inconsistency. This is a deep contradiction between belief and practice. You're preaching law, but giving in grace, and you don't even realize it. You claim others will be judged for not keeping the Sabbath, yet you're scrolling on TikTok during Sabbath hours. You tell people that Sunday worship is the mark of the beast, but you're firing up your modem and tapping a touch screen just like everyone else. You talk about obedience, but what you're practicing is convenient reinterpretation. And that's not holiness, that's hypocrisy. Now let's talk about the real solution. Let's be real. Nobody keeps the Sabbath the way Israel was commanded to, not even the most devout Adventist. You don't stop your servants or digital systems from working. You don't offer sacrifices at the temple. Why? Because Christ has come. Paul said in Colossians chapter 2 verse 16 to 17, "Let no one judge you in respect to Sabbaths. They are a shadow of the things to come, but the substance is Christ." Hebrews chapter 4 verse 9 to 10 says, "There remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God, for whoever enters God's rest has ceased from his works." That's the gospel, not one day of the law, but eternal grace. Now in closing, if you're going to preach Sinai, then live it fully. But if you're finding yourself breaking it every week while pointing the fingers at others, then maybe it's time to stop judging and start receiving the rest Jesus truly offers. It's not in a calendar, it's not in a commandment, but in his finished work. Thanks for watching. If this challenges you, share it. Let's move from shadow to substance, from law to grace.